Me here, Daniel again, here to talk to you after I just went and seen the new Avengers Endgame movie, and oh my gosh, was it a movie? Was that whole year anticipation came and it was so worth it. But here are going to be a lot of spoilers for this movie, so if you haven't seen it yet, go and watch it and then come back and watch this video because wow, if you don't go and see it at this next week, I will be disappointed. I mean, it is that worth it. I mean, I'm gonna go see it another 3 times if I can in the next week, but you should go at least see it once. Um, so I'm just here to talk to you about what I loved and hated about the movie. Trust me, there was a lot more love than hate in this movie because it was well crafted by the Russo brothers. They did an impeccable job just from beginning to end. I mean, I couldn't have done it better myself, honestly. I mean, I'm not a great writer, but still, I couldn't imagine anyone else doing it better. I mean, from any other director or writer. Um, so I have just a long laundry list of things I was writing down as I was watching this movie at the movies, like a nerd I am. Um, and there's a lot of love in here, but I mean, there was a little nitpicking I had to do here and there, but not much. But here we go. So like I said, spoilers from here on out. So if you haven't seen the movie, go and watch it. Come back, click on this video, and I will definitely have some good ideas going along with you, I think. So from loving it, I love the minor characters playing bigger parts in this whole movie. I mean, from Ant-Man to Nebula, and with the sprinkling in of War Machine and Rocket, they did a great job putting them in with the initial Avengers, like the first 6 Avengers that were there. They definitely had those minor characters doing more with them than I initially expected, which was awesome. And I loved the Ant-Man and Nebula stuff. Nebula played a giant role in this, just like she did in the comics. She didn't do exactly what she did in the comics, thankfully, but wow, was her character arc just perfectly summarized in this whole, I think 3 or 4 movies that she's been in. Or yeah, it's been 4 now. And just perfect arc for her. So, and with Ant-Man, him playing a big role in the time travel, that really did a great part in the whole movie, and everyone kind of guessed that would happen, but not in the sense that it did happen, which was even better. And talking about time travel, actually was surprisingly okay with it. It was crazy. The way they made jokingly nods to everything was great. The way they went back and messed with their own selves, like Nebula fighting with Nebula, Cap fighting with Cap, Tony being like a few steps away from his old self, was just perfect. They did it really good. And the way I can reference it back to is the best movie I can reference it back to would be Back to the Future Part 2, where he goes back and messes with his own self, who's messing with himself, which is just great. Marty just does great in that movie. Where in Back to the Future Part 2, he really just plays against his own self, and that's what they do in this own movie. They have to make sure they don't bump into themselves and they don't mess with their own past, which they do just a great job at. The whole writing and the whole time travel was great, because time travel can be a real mess when it comes to movies, and they really did their homework and they made it great. Russo brothers, cap off to you. Honestly, impeccable. So another thing I really loved was the Russo brother cameo. I don't know if you saw it, but he was the one in the self-help meetings talking about the date he went on, which was awesome because they honestly made him gay in the movie, which was really cool because I'm a big fan of the LGBTQ community. So the fact that they kind of sprinkled that in is impeccable. I loved it. As a straight man, I definitely enjoy just little nods to real life situations that are going on in life. Um, just they do really good writing in this whole thing. The Russo brothers, really great. Um, Cap with the hammer. Ooh, that was probably top two moments for me because we all knew he was always worthy. Cap always worthy of holding Mjolnir. I probably said that terribly. Mjolnir. I can't say it. I'm terrible with pronouncing that one, but that was just awesome. They led up to that one from Age of Ultron, and it finally paid off. Great job, you guys. And of course, we all knew Cap was always worthy. So the fact that they did that so perfectly was great, and him switching back and forth with Thor like they did in Infinity War was even better. Just switching hammers, switching quips, switching everything they can. They're really great duos, and I'm sad I didn't get to see more of them, but they did great in the two movies that they really let off in these past Infinity War and Endgame. And the final battle, just in general, was impeccable. The choreograph everything from top to bottom, how everyone came back and everyone fought, and I mean there was a little what's it called when you have to suspense your belief or whatever it's called, where you have to kind of feel like it could happen, but like I kind of felt like maybe Hawkeye or Rocket or one of the other more humanly beings that didn't have some sort of protective suit could have probably died in a like 10 rocket explosion just getting shot at them. That would have I'd have suspended my belief on that one just a little bit. But again, they made me kind of believe that it could happen. Like they didn't hit him directly, so maybe it could happen. But final battle from beginning to end, from beginning to dusting, great job. The fact that they started off with such a sweet note when they undid the snap and then Thanos attacks. Wow, that was just great. Because you had such a somber moment for just those 10, 20 seconds of someone talking to their loved one, and then all of a sudden just you don't even know if it's going to stay that way. Ooh, great job. Just great. And just pretty much a lot of the Tony scenes, the Tony Stark scenes, great job. I know I'm saying that a lot, but like I said, this is a great movie, so they did a lot of great jobs here. Like the Howard and Tony Stark scene. Oh my gosh, that was heartbreaking and loving at the same time. Just they knew what they were like, kind of leading up to with the warp technology, everything. Where he just kind of wanted to talk to his dad again, and it was just beautifully done. Where he kind of knows how his dad feels about him truly without having to know his dad having to tell him, kind of thing. But they wrote it great. Robert Downey Jr. just acted it out perfectly. They did everything perfect in those scenes. And some people are going to say that was one of the slower scenes. And no, it was one of the most heartbreaking scenes because it's like talking to your dad or your mom after they pass away and wishing you could say something to them and knowing how they feel about you. So, really, I mean, heartbreaking and touching all at the same time. And then the Tony and Peter part, just great, you guys. And sorry, Sunday after having to shed those tears today, I need a beer. So that was a heartbreaking movie. I need to drink my summers away. Just kidding. So the Tony and Peter part, just great because it's like he flipped his own role on himself because now he was the dad needing to kind of tell the son how he felt. And just, he couldn't say anything, he just had to hug him. The hug was so heartbreaking because you knew that was the last time they were really going to see each other and really get to interact. But they didn't really play it off that badly with it. But like I said, that whole scene from beginning to end when Peter comes back and is talking about the wizard again, just perfect. Like, wow. Like, it is Infinity Part 1 and Part 2, but I see why they had to name it a different name, because wow, it's a whole different movie than Infinity War, and they played it so well in it. Okay, so like I said, those are everything I loved about it. I mean, that's a lot of stuff you can love about it, and I still have more. But I have to go on to some of the negatives because I don't want to run too late on this movie or on this video, and I think I should get into my little nitpicks about it. But like I said, these are very minor things that I wasn't big on, but it didn't really take away from the movie. I still love the movie. Um, my overall score on the movie, I don't think I told you this already. It's a 9.5 out of 10. Like almost perfect movie. And I don't think I've ever rated a movie any kind of perfect and it 10 out of 10. And this is as close as it's going to get. I think Infinity War was a 9.2 for me. And that's very close, but not 9.5. So things I disliked about it. I can't say hate because I didn't hate anything about this movie. It was such a great written, directed, played, acted, everything from top to bottom. Great movie from Battle of New York to the beginning. But the beginning was a little rushed for me. I mean, they went from Tony being almost dying to him being okay to them going to kill Thanos within like 15 minutes of the whole thing. Like, boom, okay, well, it's a 3-hour movie, so I felt like they could have spent, like, taken a little out of some other place and give it like another 5 minutes to kind of spread out the whole beginning. But still a great beginning, from Tony and Nebula's football game to how they kill Thanos in the first place, which was great. Go for the head. He learned his lesson. That's what Thor does. The two deaths of Tony and Natasha hurt me. I wouldn't say I disliked them necessarily, but they were the saddest part of the whole movies, and they really hurt me the most. But I feel like they needed to happen. I mean, it was gonna. In my predictions, I said it was gonna be either Natasha or Hawkeye, Clinton, but I thought it was gonna be Clint, and I turned out to be wrong. I was Natasha, and again, I thought Tony or C would die, and I thought it was gonna be Steve. So again, I was wrong, but that's why I do the predictions, because I really think that leading up to it, I should know what I have in my head. Natasha's death was a little harder to watch. Tony's was a little more premeditated because of the whole him sacrifice thing. It was always kind of known that would kind of happen. But Natasha's hurt because I just love her as an actress, and she's amazing. And in that role, she was even better. But I mean, it had to kind of happen because I feel like if she would have been in that final battle, that really would have had to suspend my belief that she wouldn't have died either with Clint, like in that explosion. One of them would have had to die in that explosion if they were both there. And the fact that one of them was only there and it was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, he might have just gotten blown away into a little pocket of the cellar or something. Okay, I get that. The Captain Marvel thing, I liked and disliked at the same time. She was definitely always going to be the ex machina of the whole situation. If you don't know what an ex machina is, it's basically the tool that always is going to just bail you out at the end. It's just going to really serve as the instrument to always bail you out and always make sure you win. Because without her, they probably would have lost. And her swooping in the last 20 minutes was perfect. But also it was like a cop-out kind of thing. Like they couldn't do it themselves. Even though Cap had Mjolnir and Thor he was as strong as he could be. And Tony was living up to everything he could do. They still needed some help. And even with Giant Man, also, sorry, side note, love Giant Man. Just squishing the little freaking flying guys and everything. Just amazing. Um, so one of the last few things I would say is how was Thanos actually harder to beat now with 0 Infinity Stones than when he was with all like 5 or 6? Sorry, I believe he had all 6 against Stormbreaker, and he still somehow was able to fend off Thor better this time without any of the stones, and Thor had Stormbreaker and Mjolnir. I hate saying that. Anyways, but that was kind of weird to me how he couldn't just fend it. Thor couldn't just attack him with his 2 hammers, the hammer and the axe, and without any of his Infinity Stones. I mean, that would just make no sense. But I guess Thanos is a god. I mean, a demigod or whatever you want to call him, and he knows what he's doing. So it was a really cool fight scene, I think, in general. But I had a few Easter eggs that I wrote down in the meantime. After, because that was the end of my hate. That was barely hate. It was just a little dislike of what happened. But a few Easter eggs would be the Russo brother, again, coming back and playing his part. He always kind of, I think he's had like four parts now in the whole Marvel Universe. The next thing would be New Asgard. They said they were going to set it up in Europe somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where it's at, but this is more of a little town. That one in the comics is actually like a floating castle, I believe, which is a little bit different, but makes more sense in this Marvel universe. Oh yeah, Pepper Potts playing Rescue. I mean, everyone guessed it, but still great that it happened. I mean, basically Tony Stark A and Tony Stark B kind of just playing off each other. Really great job on that one. When Tony and his dad Howard are talking, Howard goes off and talks to his butler named Edwin Jarvis. Oh man. So that means that Tony named Jarvis after their old butler Jarvis that Howard Stark had, which is just a great playback to the comics, which is how Tony had a real butler named Jarvis, and he wasn't just a computerized thing. Great job. I mean, great writing, like I said. Russo brothers, killing it. Marvel Studios, Disney, killing it. Great job, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video about the Avengers Endgame. I mean, it was very well written, just played out great from every actor. I mean, I couldn't find a real big weak point in any of it. It was a 9.5 out of 10 for me. I mean, that's hard to get in my book. I mean, I'm a movie buff, and a 9.5 is like Fight Club and everything else under. So it's like, they're up there. Loved way more than I disliked any of it. Time travel, did great with it, with Ant-Man and everything. And just the Hulk, how he played a great role. Oh man, I almost forgot. Professor Hulk, loved him. Loved me some Professor Hulk. They really played him off well in that one. I'm sorry I extended it a little bit longer, but I had to include Professor Hulk because, man, is he great in this movie. It makes sense how after 5 years of them having to deal with each other again and having problems, they finally mesh together. It's like a relationship of anyone's. If you're not going to work it through, you're going to separate. And if you do make it through, you're going to be stronger. And they were stronger. Great job, you guys. I love Professor Hulk. The time travel thing, how it kind of coincides with Back to the Future 2. Loved it. They definitely played it off well. I love the Loki thing because Loki is now gone again. Like, where did he go? He's in his own future, in his own time. And he's playing his own cards for the past It was 2012 to 2023 for them. So he's been buying his own time for 11 years now, just doing his own thing. Wow, his old Loki's doing something, and he's just kind of been watching. Gamora's definitely not dead because she betrayed Thanos. So when they snapped them all away, she's not one of his. She's her own person. So they're gonna find Gamora, I believe, in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Vision, I believe, can be brought back, being remade by maybe Shuri, Banner, and maybe the Jarvis interface or the Mind Stone. I don't know. It could. There could be multiple possibilities for Vision to come back. So Gamora, Vision, Loki, they're all, I feel, able to come back in the universe. There's not very much other people that won't come back besides Hamdale. He's definitely dead. He sacrificed himself for the greater good. But man, go out and watch this movie if you haven't seen it yet. I mean, and if you have seen it or you haven't seen it and you're listening to this video, I'm sorry that I ruined the whole thing. But you should have turned it off a long time ago. By the way, if you haven't seen it yet and you're still watching it and you don't care, Steve doesn't die. He ages. He goes back in time and ages with Peggy Carter, which is a great send off for him. Chris Evans did a great job in that part. They really sent him off and Tony off the great way they could with the funeral and him aging with Peggy. Great job, you guys. Wow. Great way to end those stories. But like I said, go watch it again. I mean, I'm probably gonna go watch it the next. I think I'm gonna go actually watch it in the next few hours. So I don't care, Marvel. Take my money. All right, guys. Well, this has been Daniel, and I hope you enjoyed my the Avengers Endgame review, and I hope you really enjoyed it as much as I did. Have a good one, guys.